Hi everybody, it's 314 Reactor here. Today I was watching a video by a YouTuber called Noodle, and they were going over how Halo the Anniversary Edition didn't quite live up to the original game in terms of its artistic representation of the levels. One specific level that I've also seen mentioned before is 343 Guilty Spark. In the original game, this level was very dark and scary, and in the new graphics, it's very much brightened up. The assets are improved somewhat, but the actual tone and theme of the level is kind of lost in the new art style. So I was thinking, is there a way to fix this using ReShade and Marty McFly's ray tracing algorithm? So let's fire up the level and see if we can tweak the look of this level on the new graphics to see if it can more live up to the original theme and atmosphere intended with the original game. Let's dive right in. Okay, so here we are in the classic graphics. As you can see, very dark, dank, and very foggy. You can't see a lot. And this is what made the original level so scary.
The last transmission from the captain's dropship was from this area. That was over 12 hours ago. When you locate Captain Keyes, radio in, and I'll come pick you up.
And as Fohammer flies off, we're left with the eerie sounds. So this is already really scary stuff. You can't see clearly over the hills. The rain's coming down. You've got the radio coming from here. Very spooky. However, when we flick over to the new graphics, it's considerably brighter. And you can see a lot more detail in the background. There's a lot more lighting. There's still fog. But, yeah, it's just a lot more brighter, and it looks like there's moonlight shining down. So it kind of loses the aesthetic, especially these huge bright things here. I mean, they're kind of glow in the original graphics, but in the new graphics, they're like street lights. And you can see all the trees up there. Objectively, it's an improvement in the graphics, but subjectively and thematically, the tone is very much changed. And then the music kicks in. And it's very, very scary. So this is appropriate for Halloween. It's the Halloween month. So let's flick back to the new graphics again. So you can see the major problem here is you can just see so far out. And the inside areas are guilty of this as well. They add way too much in. So I'm wondering if we can tone this down and see what we can do. So let's find a nice area to start off with. We'll start off here, and we'll load up ReShade. You can find instructions on how to install ReShade and the ray tracing algorithm by going into the description, and there's a video where I go through how to install ray tracing for Halo Anniversary Edition on the Master Chief Collection. So, first of all, let's turn on the effects. This is the default setting that I had with my previous video, and as you can see, it sharpens it up. It adds in some ambient occlusion, adds in a lot of extra bounce lighting. So what I'm going to do is really tone that down. So first off, sharpening, don't need that, and depth of field, we'll turn that off as well. Let's just focus on global illumination. So first off, let's go to the lighting channel. So yeah, there's a lot of bounce lighting here, which is a problem. So let's enable these extra settings that are relatively new with the ray tracing shader. Both of those on. That improves the look of the ray shader straight away. Let's check out our frame rate, and we're running at 50 frames a second. What we want to do is turn that bounce lighting down to around, let's say, 1. And ambient occlusion is at 4. So let's pump that up to 8. Let's check the actual look of the actual lighting. And so already, I think that's quite a bit darker. Let's turn the effects off. So as you can see already, just by turning the bounce lighting down and the ambient occlusion up, we have darkened the level down. Now, there are some issues with perhaps the ambient occlusion under the foliage here being a bit too strong, but it's nothing to avert, and it certainly really tones the lighting down on the level, which of course is a lot more like the original graphics, but it's still not quite dark enough. Okay, so I found this other cool shader called AdaptiveFog. As I mentioned, the fog in the original graphics is quite an important aspect of this level, but it's quite toned down, if not completely removed, in the new graphics. So let's turn on AdaptiveFog, and what I've done is turn down the RGB down to 0, so it should just be a dark fog. We can maybe adjust that later. Let's have a look at the MaxFogFactor. So we can crank it right up and completely fog out the distant areas. So that, as a starting point, isn't too bad. As you can see, it's actually fogging out about as much as the original game was. But the trouble is, the fog is the wrong color. So what we need to do is get this kind of gray, kind of a bluey color. See if we can replicate that. Let's get a bit of green in there. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just up those colors just very slightly. Seems very sensitive, so we're gonna have to be careful with it because we need to maintain that sort of gray fog color. Let's up them all to 40, see how that looks. Up the blue a bit more, up the fog factor a bit more. Okay, so the fog factor's up to max there, but it still looks like some of that ambient occlusion is coming through. So let's see what the fog curve does. Whoa, okie dokie. So we don't want to completely ruin everything with the fog. You can also see an unfortunate side effect is it's affecting the HUD there. There should be a HUD detection shader, but I've never been able to get it to work. I wonder if anybody could actually help me out with that. Let's have a look. UI detect. Yeah, it just doesn't seem to want to detect that UI, and I'm not sure how it works. So unfortunately, the UI is going to suffer while we're working with this. There's also a fog shader here called Retro Fog. Let's see what that looks like. So that is, like, definitely not what we want. Back to Adaptive Fog. So we've got FogStart. So we can bring the fog to be closer to the player or further away from the player. We don't want it too close. Leave it about there. BloomThreshold. Whoa, okay, we do not want too much bloom. Yeah, we really don't want a lot of bloom on this. So we'll put that threshold up to the top. BloomPower. Crank that down to 0. So that fog factor at 1. It's pretty good. Okie dokie, so that looks alright. That's the fog color at 40/40 and blue at 49. MaxFogFactor is at 1. I'll tell you what, I'll put these settings down in the description so you can go there and copy and paste them over to your own ReShade installation. So now what we have is the issue that the ambient occlusion is coming through here. So let's see if we can turn off the RTGI. See already, that actually looks pretty good. If we go back to the old graphics. That has fogged out those distant areas, because without it, you can just see everything, and it's way less scary. And with it, there you go, it kind of brings back that original look. And that's the original game with the extra fog as well. Wow, that's pretty cool, actually. Actually improves the original game as well, because it really reduces the visibility even more, makes it even scarier. So, the problem we were having was with the RTGI. It certainly darkens things down a lot, but it's illuminating or adding ambient occlusion to these trees in the distance. I am trying to do a video. Thank you. What we can do, I think, is turn down the fade end and bring it back. So it's actually not affecting those distant areas. So if we set that to about 769 and then flick over. There we go. So now those distant trees are fogged right out. Let's check back to the original graphics. Quite impressive, actually. That's really brought it back and made it quite a bit more scary and intense. Especially this bit here. Look at that. I mean, you can see so far into the distance, and there's like moonlight coming through the trees there. You turn it off. That's pretty much erased all the light coming from these like gooey street lamps as well. Let me know what you think in the comments, by the way. Let's play through a bit. Because the high level of visibility meant that the bit around here where you see the first flood form, and you could barely see it in the original, like it was an odd sort of thing, it was completely obviously clear in the new graphics. So if we look over here, oh, was that him? Okay, I didn't quite catch him, but there is a flood that appears over there and watches you for a bit, then runs off, and obviously, as you can see in the new graphics, it's so clear that you can just obviously see it, and it's not really scary anymore. With the fog back on, and compared to the old graphics, it's much more in line. The distant things are still a bit too visible. As you can see, there's like a bit of a tree there that's visible, and a bit of a bush there that's visible. I wonder if we can bring that fog back a bit. Just a bit. Just a touch. To about there. To about 0.002. And then we compare it to the old graphics. And there we go, because you can still see a bit of the trees there, but anything beyond that is fogged right out. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? Let's go to the old graphics again. Look at the difference. You just see everything. So now you get the new graphics, the new textures, the new weapon models, but you also maintain the original feel of the level. So let's move on a bit further. The only thing is it's dulling out some of the colors, but given the nature of the level, I don't think that's a bad thing to mute some of the colors down. Because without it, it's just so bright. I mean, look at it. And this is the original graphics. I'm just wondering if I need to tone down the brightness or contrast on the new graphics. Let's see if we can get some contrast, brightness, saturation. Let's flick that on. What we got here? Dither strength, tint, exposure, contrast, brightness, saturation, vibrant. Exposure. Let's move that around a bit. Whoa, okay. So we can tone it down a little bit. And the contrast we can tweak. And here we are. It's just the new graphics enhanced with ReShade. And back to the original level. That's not too bad. I mean, even in the original graphics, you've still got the color there from the greens and on the gun and stuff. And look at the fog really handling this area. So there's the old graphics. And then over to new. And then turn off ReShade for the original graphics. Or original anniversary graphics. And look at the difference. So we've really completely cut out that lighting. It's just perhaps the lighting on the gun here and on that tree might still be a bit too strong. Let's see if we can actually desaturate that bit. Just a little bit of desaturation. Again, all these settings will be in the description. Vibrance, we just want to crank down a bit as well, because I think the game engine is already quite vibrant. It's actually something that needs toning down. Exposure, pump that down a little bit more. Contrast, crank that up a little bit. It's around about minus 100 or so contrast. And we look around. Let's go to the original graphics. And back. So it's still got those like little lights on the ground there. You can still see the trees. But the lighting's not too much. And they've got the original anniversary graphics. Yeah. And then ReShade back on. The fog's maybe a little bit dark. So you can see there's a bit of a blue tone there to that. So if we go back to the fog settings and we turn up the blue on the fog just a little bit. Ooh, look at that. Just a few extra things to the fog. Original graphics. New graphics. So we're getting to the point now, I think, where it's actually spookier in the anniversary graphics now, with it being enhanced with ReShade. I think that's pretty good. So let's take a look around some parts of the level with these new ReShade effects and compare between the three. And again, let me know what you think in the comments. So we've got the original graphics. Got the anniversary graphics. And then we have anniversary graphics with ReShade. Yeah, this is genuinely creepy now. Like, really creepy. There's still a bit of light coming from the water here. Let's tone that down a little bit. So I've turned the bounce lighting to absolute 0 now, just to try and curtail that extra glow around the water there. So here's the original graphics. Anniversary graphics. And then anniversary graphics modified with ReShade. Back to the original graphics. Just look at the difference. That's crazy. Really, that fog really works to capture the old sea style. Oh, I really like that. That's cool. And that is creepy. And because of the extra like dense vegetation and the better models and graphics, it actually feels a lot more immersive. The real acid test will be the indoor parts, because that is where the game really went crazy with the art style. And that was one of the big complaints people had, which is understandable. So let's head on inside. Okay, so here we are in the lift room. Doesn't look too bad initially. If we go back to the original game's graphics, you can see very little light, very silent and spooky. Now the interesting thing is that the fog in the original game is very banded. Doesn't look great. So let's flick over to the new graphics. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Oh my god. Now that I'm really thinking about it, yeah, that's just, my god, completely ruined that atmosphere, right? So let's turn on the ReShade again. And that really brings it down. And also the fog on the ReShade, as you see as we switch back and forward, is that the fog on the ReShade is not banded. So we're actually getting a kind of improvement on the original graphics here. So this is the original graphics. This is the anniversary graphics. And this is the anniversary graphics with the ReShade settings we've applied before. Makes it feel very dark and scary, foreboding. Alright, so let's head deeper in. So if we go back to vanilla anniversary graphics, as you go back to the original graphics, wow, even the original graphics are quite bright here. So if we put on ReShade, ooh, wow, okay. So ReShade is even enhancing the original graphics here. But it's definitely way too bright on the new graphics. I mean, there's just too much going on. So when we add that ReShade config in, That really makes it a lot more spooky, especially that fog. Ooh. Well, this is creepy. And the creepy sounds. Oh, this is creepy stuff. This is perfect for the month of Halloween. Yeah, go back to the original graphics. Look how bright even the original graphics are. Wow. And then you just go over to the anniversary graphics. Look at it. Looks like a nightclub. But then we flick ReShade on. And look at that. Ooh, that really changes it. So here's the original graphic. Here's the original graphics with the ReShade enhancements, which I think looks really good. Here's the anniversary graphics, and then anniversary graphics with ReShade on. It's creeping me out a bit because I'm in the dark filming this, and getting creeped out with these ambient sounds. So there's the original graphics with ReShade, anniversary graphics, and anniversary graphics with ReShade. Oh, look at this area. Okay, here we go. Original graphics, original with ReShade, anniversary graphics, and anniversary with ReShade. Let's do another direct comparison between original graphics and new with ReShade. That's an improvement even though the old graphics at this point, I think. Okay, so here we are at the really scary part. Okay, so I think what we're going to do here is I'm going to go through the cutscene, put it in the new graphics, and then flick ReShade on and off during the cutscene. Let's do this. Let's turn ReShade on. Ooh. Yeah, immediately. ReShade off. ReShade back on. Man, that really enhances things, doesn't it? Especially this room here. Look at that in the background. When it goes back, ReShade off. ReShade back on. And off again. Back on.
Why do we always have to listen to this old stuff, Sarge?
Watch your mouth, son. This stuff is your history.
So this with ReShade on. As you can see, it broke a bit of the cutscene there because you could still see some of the geometry, but ReShade off. Oh my god, look how bright that is.
You ask them real nice next time you see them, Vicente. I'm sure they'll be happy to oblige.
And ReShade back on.
LZ looks clear. I'm bringing us down.
Works really nicely with that sort of film grain effect they have as well.
Go, go, go!
With the ReShade on. Very similar to results to what we saw when we went through this area. ReShade off. Oh my god, look how much brighter that is. It's like daytime. ReShade back on. Tones it right back down. Yeah, that's the only trouble with the ReShade. Although that actually makes it really creepy.
I mean, look at it. Something scrambled the inside.
Just crank the ReShade off.
There. Plasma scoring?
I don't know. Maybe there
And then
was
back
a,
on.
you know, friendly fire or something?
What do we have, Sergeant? Looks like a Covenant patrol. Badass elite units. All KIA.
Real pretty. Friend of yours?
No, we just met.
You can actually see the
Let's get this door open.
models getting placed before the
But it looks like these Covenant worked pretty hard. to
before
lock
the
us
scene
down.
fully loads.
Just do it, son.
Yes, sir.
Just turn ReShade off again. Oh my god. Back on. Look at that.
Got a bad feeling about this.
Boy, you always got a bad feeling about something.
What's going on, soldier?
There! Mira!
Hold still! Hold still! Let him have it!
Sergeant, we're surrounded.
God damn it, Jenkins! Fire your weapon!
There are too many,
Don't
Sarge!
even think about it, Marine.
Oh, this is local!
Get back here, Marine. That's an order.
Jenkins!
Oh, these bits are really creepy. Whoa. So yeah, it breaks some of the scene transitions. But other than that, it looks a lot better. Again, let's turn ReShade off. And then back on. It's just way better. And then original graphics. Original graphics with ReShade. Again, way better. I'm sure it was this foggy on the original Xbox version. I'm going to have to fire up my Xbox and check now, because I'm sure it was more foggy on the original Xbox version. Maybe that's another thing Gearbox messed up when they ported it. Anyway, back to the new graphics with ReShade. Yeah, this is considerably more creepy. Let's turn the ReShade off. Look how bright it is! And then back on. Yeah, I mean, my god. They're using ReShade there, and just a few minutes of tweaking, we have managed to bring the Halo CE feel to Anniversary on 343 Guilty Spark, but also found a way to improve even the original graphics. I mean, look how much better that looks. So yeah, that's a double win. I wasn't expecting that. So this lab area should be interesting. You've got some really nice real-time shadows there. Let's go to the original graphics. And then we got the Anniversary graphics. Original reshaded. Or Anniversary graphics reshaded. The flashlight in Anniversary is pretty much useless because everything's so bright. You just don't need it. So let's turn on reshade again. And yeah, it kind of makes it that you actually, you know, need the flashlight again. We'll test that a bit more when we're outside again. Alright, so we're about to head back outside again. And yeah, you can really see this dark area here. The flashlight actually becomes kind of useful again versus the game without any reshade. So here we are back outside. Let's use a bit of the old flashlight again. So it actually does come in handy. Again, look at the original graphics. After spending a good few minutes with reshade on and going back to these Anniversary graphics, it's just horrendous. And then you flick reshade back on, and there you go. I can't believe how much of a change this makes. Again, original graphics, Anniversary, Anniversary reshaded, and original again. Again, go into the description and you will see the settings I've used for this. Feel free to tweak them, see if you can make them look even better, and really capture that original feel of CE even more. Alrighty, so that was fixing 343 Guilty Spark in Halo Anniversary. I think it's worked really, really well, especially just for my first try. I didn't do any pre-preparation, and I think it even improves the original graphics as well. Check out the description for instructions on installing reshade and ray tracing on Halo, and also check out the description for the reshade configuration that I have. Please do like and subscribe, hit the little bell, really helps, and leave a comment on if you think this actually improved the graphics or not. Do you prefer the Anniversary graphics or the original graphics? Do let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.